friends, it's Christina. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making a card using the Spellbinders Glimmer kit of the month. This kit includes the glimmer plates, so we have this really decorative, beautiful floral piece right here. We're going to be using that with the glimmer machine. Then it also comes with a die cut that cuts out the outline. We also have an oval shape, and that is going to be a die cut. It's a scallop oval. And then we have our sentiment here. Also has a plate that you can use to create a background as well. We're not going to be using that one today. So we are going to hop in. I have, since we're going to be doing the foiling, I have my Glimmer hot foil system ready to go. It's all turned on and heated up, so we're ready to start doing our foiling. And then I have my die cutting machine, so we can do our foiling, plus we also need to do some die cutting. So let's jump in. Since this is ready to go, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to set my plate on here. And then I also have my sentiment, so I'm going to set that just a little further over. We can take care of everything all at once. I'm going to go ahead and add my foil to my sentiment. So we're using a brush, I think it's a polished brass foil. So we're just going to go ahead and set that down. And then I have some white cardstock for our bigger piece. And then I have some of the silver fox for our sentiment. I have my two plates. We have the green plate and the acrylic plate. We're going to go ahead and set the timer on this. And when it's all ready, we're going to run it through our die cutting machine. All right, so now we have a solid light here. So our timer is all done. I'm going to go ahead and kind of pop this out of the machine and run this through our die cutting machine. And I like to run this through just one time. And this way it less chances of any kind of ghosting or any sliding of the dies. So I like to run it through just once. And we're going to set this here. Well, actually, let's move this back over to our hot plate here. We are going to pick this up. I'm just going to grab my tweezers so I don't burn my fingers. I have your machine's going to come with the little magnetic tool. It might be this one. There are older machines that have a different type of tool with it. I have a fairly newer one, and this is great for picking up your dies and then just pushing the button, and it'll stay on the side here to cool. I'm just going to get this out of the way, and then we can peel back our sentiment. So kind of you is our sentiment. Love that. And then we have our, oh, that's gorgeous. Now I do have a little bit of a piece of gold that transferred. We are going to take our sand eraser and just erase that off, and then that'll be fine. This will also get covered up with our sentiment, so we're not going to kind of worry too much about that. And we are now all done with our glimmer machine. I'm just going to turn that off and unplug it and set it to the side so that I don't burn my fingers. Before we start putting our card together, we need to go ahead and do some die cutting. I am going to die cut my sentiment using that oval piece, and I'm going to tape it into place just to make sure it doesn't move around. And that'll get die cut through our die cutter. I also have the outline for this one, and we are going to set that up and tape this down as well. There we go. And we can run both of these through our die cutting machine at the same time. Okay, so there's our scallop sentiment, and then we have our foiled centerpiece here. And then what we could do is pop this up right on the top, but I am not going to do that quite yet because we're going to do a little coloring with this. I'm going to set these aside because I'm not quite done using my machine just yet. I'm also bringing in the embossing folder that's also released for this month for Spellbinders kits. And I am taking a piece of pink cardstock. This is cut down to 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to run this through our machine. So when you're using the embossing folders, you just need your plate, your embossing folder, and then one plate. So you don't need to use both of the acrylic plates. And we are all done with that. Oh, I love that. That is gorgeous. So pretty. And one more thing that we want to do before we start putting our card together is I'm going to create my card base. I have been testing out a new type of cardstock. I'm going to have a video on this coming very soon, and I'm really enjoying this cardstock. So I am using it's a 120-pound cardstock, and I absolutely love it. So it's cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score this at 5 1/2. And then we'll go ahead and put this with I found my bone folder from my last video. I said I couldn't find it anywhere. I found it. So there we go. That is our card base. So we have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card, which will be a top folding card. I also have a piece of Silver Fox cardstock. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and that is going to just be 1/4 of an inch smaller than our card base. So that is all ready to go. So I think at this point we are ready now to start putting our card together. Lots of preparation for this card. And we're going to start off with our little die cut here. I grabbed 2 of my Olo markers, and I am going to be using the R0.1 and then the YG 8.3. These are just 2 of the lighter colors that I have in my stash. And I'm going to go ahead and color in our flowers. I'm not going to do any shading on these smaller flowers. I'm really just going in and adding the color, making it super simple. Do the same thing for the other side. I'm doing the smaller flowers with no shading. I am really enjoying the Olo markers. If any of you have tried these, I have been having a lot of fun with these. They are fun to use. And then I'm going to come in and do our larger flower that's in the center. So I am just going to go ahead and color that in with our lighter color, which is the R01. And then I'm going to do the R02. This is just a little bit of a darker shade, and I am just going to kind of add some shade down towards the bottom of our flower. That is it for just coloring these flowers. I'm making this part very simple. And then for our leaves, we're going to use the YG 8.3, and I am going to fill in my leaves. Because I want that to be just a little bit darker, I am going to come in with a little bit of a second layer of the green, just to make it just so it's a little bit darker and stands out a little bit more. So just adding that little bit of color, which wasn't much, added some nice detail to this foiled die cut. I absolutely think it's the cutest. And I am going to now go ahead and add a piece of foam adhesive to the back of this die cut. I have my little itsy bitsy tiny foam adhesives, and I am going to just add a couple of those to the back. And just so I have a little bit of wiggle room, I'm going to add a little bit of glue just so I make sure I'm okay with my centering. And I am going to place that right in the middle of this die cut. So pretty. And that glue does give us nice wiggle room to make sure that we have that in there nicely. So kind of you. I love that. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the back of my embossed image here. We are going to add that to our piece of Silver Fox cardstock. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add some foam adhesive to the back of our die cut piece here. And that will get adhered right to the center of our card. Just like that. And no card is complete until we've added a few gems. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, a list of the supplies that we used today are in the description down below. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.